This is episode 28 of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.
I've got an NFR hangover. You have a hangover of any sort, Wacey?
You know what? For the amount of beers I drank last night, I feel not so bad.
Pretty good?
Yeah, I crushed a few Michelob Ultras.
I saw you had some Michelobs in the refrigerator.
Yeah, they're nice. Nice beverage.
What was the occasion?
Well, it's been my birthday week.
Birth week. Wacey's birth week. This was a very important topic on the last podcast. It got a little heated.
What happened? I don't even remember. What were we upset about?
You were upset about your birthday and how it was all about you. And it was like, there was something else going on. You're like, no, it's my birthday. It was Friendsmas over your birthday. And you're like, no, we can't do that because it's my birthday.
Oh, right, yeah.
We can't do that.
It's just be Friendsmas now anyways. We're not having a birthday party.
What happened to your birthday party?
I just haven't planned it. Nobody's around.
Okay.
That's my bad. But anyways, it was my birthday. And I wrote an exam yesterday.
Yeah.
So
on a Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday afternoon
What
exam.
the fuck's that about?
Sucks. Big ones.
Who plans that shit?
The university registrar is a dick.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had that and then went and had some beers but I feel good today. Today's been a good day for me.
See, the thing about Wacey is as long as he doesn't end up in the karaoke bar, he's probably going to be all right.
Yeah. You know, we actually have come to a revelation that we have overstayed our welcome at the karaoke bar.
Really? You
Yeah,
guys
so
calling it off there? What the hell?
Yeah, we probably won't be going there in the near future.
Wait, what happened?
Nothing. It just like Preston and I, for some reason we decided to party on a Tuesday.
This was before I went to somewhere. It was like the last time I left. Where was I that time?
You were in Mexico, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, we go and just like it was him and I, and then Derek just comes and like we're sitting there like this is dumb, like this sucks.
Yeah.
And like it's fun. Like it's fun if there's a big group of people.
Yeah.
Like that night when we went, when you came with us, that was really fun. And then we went in big groups too. It's a lot more fun. But like we decided if it's just him and I, we're not going anymore.
You can't go there.
Because we're like people are starting. They know the regulars know who we are. The DJs know who we are. The bartenders know who we are.
So wait, does that make you guys regulars?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's not good. That's not a good thing.
Especially at that type of bar. So.
You're starting to go down a dark path.
Yeah, you had down a dark road we didn't want to be on anymore. So we had to, we're pulling the plug on the old karaoke bar. Like, not forever. It's just like, it's not going to be our regular spot. Yeah, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
Okay.
More sort of thing.
Okay. So it's not like an ex-girlfriend. It's just like...
No, it's just like your side piece. Like if we don't... Not saying I have a side piece, but... If you were to have one, that's what the karaoke bar would be. But we're not trying to branch out.
What's your main piece then? For bars?
I would say, I can't like Ranchman's is obviously like your main piece.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I was gonna go last night, but I ended up turning out. But
so what did you do instead? You just drank beers here at the house?
No, so
fill me in. What's been happening?
Sarah's brother-in-law. Sarah's my girlfriend. For those who don't know,
she's real.
Yeah, he is an electrician, and some of his buddies have a company in town. Yep. And they had their Christmas party last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You've been Christmas partying up since I've been gone.
Yeah. So we did.
I missed 3 solid weekends of Christmas parties.
Yeah, it's been good, man. So we went there last night, had some beers, and I play hockey with a lot of those guys in the state alumni league when I cover for them.
Yeah.
So they're all pretty good guys. So yeah, we drank some beers, played some darts. Didn't smoke any darts. That's good.
So it was a no dart Saturday.
No dart Saturday, but it was it was a good time. We had a nice. Didn't get too wild. I'm still in functioning. I still have another exam left on Monday here, so.
Oh yes.
I'm not up quite in the clear.
That's fair.
Yeah, been lots going on. Well, not really lots going on. I've just been like studying and going to Christmas parties.
What about the NFR? You picked me up here at the airport. I just got back.
I didn't watch much of it.
You said you were like a non-fan this week. You're like, nah, I didn't feel like watching that much.
No, and it's just like the Flames are hot right now. So if the Flames are I would rather watch the Flames.
That's fair.
And I was busy studying and whatever, and I had people like you to keep me updated.
Oh yeah.
I was happy to see like the rank as Saddle Bronc riding around was like 89 was like 4th place or whatever. That's pretty cool.
5th place.
Yeah.
They had 4 90-point rides. It was nuts.
Yeah, and like I said to you in the truck on the way home, like I was amazed with all the 90-point rides in the rough stock events anyways.
Yeah.
Like every night somebody was 90.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They might have actually been 90 in one event every night. It might be a stat we would have to look at.
Yeah, so I mean...
But it was pretty incredible this year. I thought that way.
And then the other one that I was pretty pumped about was all the Canadians doing well on Canadian night.
That's true. That was a good evening.
Getting a check.
Everybody got a check. That was the only night all week everybody got placed, but it was Canadian night. That was cool. That was very cool.
How much money did we walk out of there?
580,000 US.
Nice.
And over 428,000 was won on Canadian stock.
Perfect.
Another cool stat. And I don't have the numbers on the go-round buckles, but like probably 8 or 9 or
The go-round buckles were really nice. I seen a picture of ones. They were
Montana
really nice.
Silversmiths.
They were really nice.
Pretty badass. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
World champion buckle makers.
I really like those a lot.
Yeah, they make nice stuff. Did you see my feather yet?
No.
I got a feather.
Man, you got so many trinkets and stuff.
I got a whole handful of Wrangler Long Live Cowboys stickers.
Ted brought a full-size boat home.
I brought a boat home. What else did I bring home?
1 million Wrangler stickers.
Tobacco, some Wrangler stickers. I got some free jeans too.
Sweet.
So if you there's a swear word you've been saying around the house lately. So I have a pair of free jeans for you. So
Perfect.
You can get back on the right
get on the right team. Hey man, I'll wear whatever's cheapest.
I'm gonna put a Wrangler Long Live Cowboy sticker on everything Wacey's in the house. It's just gonna be branded.
That's fine. I'm okay representing with it. How about you? You were the guy who was there. You were in the mix. You were living it up.
It was cool.
I seen one night you got a little out of hand there.
Where?
Got on the sauce one night at the BFO guys and Keenan and Corb.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Brinson Snapchat.
I didn't have that much to drink. We just were having a great time. But my head really hurt the next day. I don't know what happened there.
I remember talking to you on the phone the next morning and you're feeling pretty rough.
Well, I just don't remember being like, you have those nights sometimes where you like don't actually drink that much, but you're having a great time.
And then you just feel so bad the next day,
right? Like, but I only remember having like 4 drinks in my hand, like 4 different drinks, but they're like Vegas free pour. So they maybe like triples. And then like whatever kind of swish Luke had in the cup was like pretty hefty. And my head hurt real bad the next day.
Those are the worst. So when you get mixed in the beverages is when you start feeling rough.
Yeah, because I think I had a gin and tonic, and I had some whiskey and water, and then I had something with, I think Brinson brought me one with ginger ale in it, and then there was like whatever the hell was in the cup, and then I think we had some tequila, and then we went to the Mirage, and then there was like 5 of us in a car, and we were drinking out of that cup, and then eventually I just pulled the ripcord and just yanked, and I was gone.
See ya.
Like 3 a.m.
Uber, get me out of here. Get me back to the Tropicana.
I think I had to do something in the morning too. It was just, I was not having a good time.
Oh, yeah, you had a meeting with Wrangler.
Oh, no, with Montana the next morning. I met the boss of the whole company and...
You're hung down.
Oh, gosh. Donnie picks me up. He calls me.
He's got his dark sunglasses on.
He calls me in the morning at like 8:30 and I'm like, oh, hello? Just real hungover.
What are you doing, Ted? I've been out for 3 hours already.
Yeah, Donnie's going and he's like, okay, I'll give you a shout in a bit. And then he's like, okay, I'm here. And I'm like, I barely got out of the shower at this point. Like I was still in bed at like 9:30. He picked me up I think he picked me up at 10 and I still wasn't even rolling yet. Pretty rough shape.
Rough morning for Ted.
But
he had the Vegas flu.
Oh, and I got it real bad here. Just the casinos and the smoke and like a whole week.
Did you smoke any darts yourself?
No, I did not. Can confirm, no darts. The total of darts smoked for
Teddy
the week
is not a dart haver.
0. No darts. Dart free zone for me.
Nice, man. Happy to be home, though.
Yeah, the NFR this year is way different. A lot of the maiden photographers weren't there. Mike Copeman, Dan Hubble. There's some weird shit going on with all that. And then the media room, we used to have really nice meals there. Every night we had like a full meal. Like we had like meatloaf one night and we had like roast beef and pork tenderloin, pork chops, like really nice meals. It was the only real meal I got every day. This year they had cold cuts and hot dogs. So I'm not trying to be like a food.
Like, are we talking like boiled wieners?
Yeah, like boiled hot dogs.
Oh, no.
So it went from like a real meal to like that. So I was kind of disgusted with that part.
That's pretty.
And it was like really weird. Like they didn't even give one of our Wrangler guys a meal ticket. So I gave him mine and got another one because I was so disgusted with that. I'm like at the end of it, I didn't even want to be there anymore. Like I don't know what the deal was this year or what the hell happened. But like at this point, could care less if I went back to cover the NFR for media again. So that's the end of my rant there.
This is Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey live from Las Vegas with Corb Lund.
Corb, we've been hanging out in Vegas for a few years now, and I want to talk. The name of the show is Cowboy Shit, so we're going to get your definition of cowboy shit later on. Let's kick things off, though. Let's talk about your family and the sport of rodeo. Like, you're a lifelong musician, but you have deep connections in the rodeo world. You've done most of the events as well.
Well, some of them when I was a kid. My mom and dad were both pro rodeo people in Canada, and both my grandpas rodeoed up there. And my great grandpa too, actually. And I've still got uncles and cousins that do it. Grandpa was a judge at Calgary for about 28 years or something like that. And mom won Calgary in '59.
She was the first one to do that too.
They say that was the first year they had barrel racing as a major event, yeah. So that's kind of neat. They made her a pioneer of the Stampede a couple years ago.
Yeah, and we had lunch with her this year at that
Pioneer
event.
luncheon, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Patty Ivins, Patty Lund, Ivins is her maiden name, but both my grandpas, my grandpa Lund was a bronc rider and my grandpa Ivins was a roper. Grandpa Lund actually did a lot of stuff. He rodeoed in Australia and in London, England, and he went on those trips to Madison Square Garden and Boston Garden.
Yeah.
I don't know, that'd be the 40s probably?
Probably, maybe even before that.
Yeah.
Because there used to be, before the RCA was created in I want to say the 30s or
I think
something?
so. He was in on that too.
He was in on that?
Yeah.
And what was his name again?
Clark Lund.
Clark, okay. And then DC was
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dad was a bulldogger.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I rode steers when I was a kid, like we all did.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was 14, it was too tall. There's nothing to hold on to anymore, so I bulldogged a little bit. The Ziffleys took me out a couple times.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. But yeah, then I got into music, and now it's mostly sing about it now.
Okay. Let's talk about your family and the trip to like London. Like you were talking about Tom Hughes at one point when we were having lunch that day.
Yeah.
And they went to Africa with the rodeo as well. Like.
Yeah. In 73 or 74, Zambia, Africa, was celebrating its 10th anniversary of independence from Rhodesia, and somebody in their government decided they wanted to have a Wild West show to commemorate as part of the festivities. And so they called, I think, maybe the American government too. They definitely called the Canadian government to find some people who could put on a Wild West show for them. So they called the CRCA back. It was called back then. And Dad was pretty adventurous, and he didn't hear about it until the word was out for a few months, and he didn't hear about it until right at the last minute. He apparently heard about it on Thursday, and him and Mum were on a plane to Zambia, Africa by Tuesday with Tommy Buse and Rosemary Buse. My mum and Rosemary grew up together in Carson. They're old buddies. Rosemary Linder, and then Gordy Kessler too. So the five of them went to Africa, Zambia for a month in Lusaka, and they spent 3 weeks getting the stock together and building the arena and stuff, and then they put on a week's worth of performances. And the funny part was, funny for me, not for them, but the local African mounted police were forced to become bronc riders. They were ordered to ride broncs. And so I've got really cool Super 8 footage, old footage of these guys trying to ride broncs, and Dad's trying to teach them to bulldog and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Oh wow!
And one of the cool stories out of the whole thing was that the African guys were kind of amazed that these Canadian guys could do all these crazy things with animals and stuff, and they noticed that every few minutes they'd reach into their back pocket and take a pinch of this kind of magic potion, put it in their lip, and they figured that was a lot of them were sort of tribal people still, and they figured that was some kind of animal magic or something, which maybe it is.
Maybe it is, yeah. Copenhagen. So how much Copenhagen got left in Africa?
I don't know. I'd like to ask about that.
Probably not much. They probably ran out. They're probably trying to improvise.
Hard to find it, yeah.
Yeah. But Copenhagen, like snuff, originated in Europe, did it not?
Yeah, it's Scandinavian, I think.
Yeah. You mentioned your grandfather was in London, England. Was that right?
Yeah.
Rodeo-wise, too?
Yeah.
That's been banned there for numerous years, hasn't it?
Probably. But this is like the 30s, right? So
what was that show?
I don't know. I've seen the program. A bunch of Canadian cowboys went. I imagine it was just kind of an exhibition, same as the one they would have in New York City back in the time.
Yeah.
Because at that time it seemed like there was even more of that than there is now. Like it almost did seem like it kind of crossed over into Wild West show territory sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I mean, out west it was a sport, obviously, but it seems like sometimes it was sort of viewed as a sort of more of a spectacle.
And to have those rodeos at Madison Square Garden and at the Boston Garden and in London, like it was kind of more mainstream then in the 50s with like Casey Tibbs was on the cover at Time magazine.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of I don't know what happened, but what do you think's changed?
It seems like over the decades it kind of drifts in and out of public consciousness, right? So
I guess so. Where like the cowboy is kind of cool again, I think.
Yeah, and it has to do with bigger trends of culture too, I think, because Western lifestyle in general seems to kind of drift in and out. Country music, for that matter, too. It seems like it's always got its core audience, but then it kind of drifts into the wider mainstream culture sometimes, and then drifts out again.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember Urban Cowboy days?
Oh yeah, that was the 80s, wasn't it? Or was it early 90s?
I think it was early 80s, actually, mid 80s.
Okay. I want to get to NFR. It's been a couple years now that you've been down here. You had a show at the MGM, and that was 2016, I think.
Yeah.
You had that one. Mm-hmm. And then last year you played at the Tropicana for the Bullfighters Only and the Hui Jam Party.
Hui Jam,
there. Yeah. How's it been there the last few years? And this year you did the Hui Party at the Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of want to talk about yourself and rodeo and the PBR World Finals this year too. Like, it's been cool to kind of see it all at these events the last couple years.
Yeah. In Canada we play, like, as you know, our career is kind of lopsided because in Canada we're quite well known.
Yeah.
And we've been playing the States for years. We have a core following down here, but a lot of the people that I think would really pick up on what we do are Western people. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me sooner, but coming and doing events like this has been super valuable for the U.S. for us, because I mean we play a lot of fairs and rodeos in Canada, and it's a perfect fit, and that's what I'm singing about. So any Canadian artist, it's a classic thing. Every Canadian artist it's always a struggle to get known in the States. So for me, me, like playing for Western people and rodeos and stuff is a perfect way to get my foot in the door down here. Because as you know, like in a lot of ways, people from Alberta, especially rural people from Alberta, there's almost more cultural connection down the Rockies than there is going east, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's not even sort of. It's definitely, it's for sure. Yeah. It's quite
so yeah, I feel like these are my people,
And you've had some wins here in the last few years, right? You were talking the other day that you already have a couple more shows on the go next year, and you had a couple more.
Yeah.
Look like they're getting booked.
It just feels like the word's getting out about us, and it's kind of a cool thing because when you start out as a musician and you're 22, as your career builds, you're still getting your act together and sort of figuring out how to do it. But we've been doing this long enough that we sort of know how to do it already. It's just a matter of letting people know about who we are. So,
where have you found your best success so far in the United States? I remember you telling me about Montana, Colorado, Texas.
Yeah, I'd say two areas. One would be Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, mostly because that's close to home, and then Texas/Oklahoma, because Texas has a really special music scene. Like, I don't know why, it's baked into their culture more than anywhere else. Maybe I think Ireland would be a close second.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you were just there with Coulter Wall and was it Hayes?
That was Scotland.
That was Scotland. Oh, okay.
Similar though. Okay. But no, Texas has a really great support for music there, and it seems like the average person on the street is much more tuned into original music, and like they're really I want to say nationalistic almost about their Texas guys, because there's people in Texas that make a living and never hardly leave the state.
Yeah.
And that's all because there's great musicians down there, but there's also a really great support for music. I think live music is much more part of the culture in Texas than it is a lot of other places, like all that dance hall stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I first started playing in the States, that was the place that I felt most at home and most welcomed. A lot of the other bands in that scene, like Hayes and Reckless Kelly and the Turnpike guys, are really, really welcoming. Well, we fit down there. It's cool.
Oh, definitely. Well, and talk about the dance halls. Like, there's not many left in Canada. Like, the only place you can go play live music or go see live music in Calgary now is like the Ranchmans on the weekends and like the Blues Can. Like, I don't even know anywhere else that you can hear live music anymore.
Yeah, there's a few, but yeah, you're right. Well, the dance hall thing is different too, because it was like it's almost essentially a community hall, right?
Yeah.
And everyone I think it's a 150-year-old tradition down there. People would come from all over the area to hear dance bands, right?
Yeah.
Western swing and all that kind of stuff.
And then those are the ones where you can bring your own beer, right?
I would imagine. I would guess so.
I remember going to one of those when we were in San Angelo at a college rodeo or something. We had a lot of fun.
It's neat because we have a lot of different facets to our audience. Like a big chunk of our audience are legit Western people.
Yeah.
But we also play to a lot of people who like Steve Earle or Hayes, like Americana or Red Dirt, they call it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because we have our foot in a number of different genres, kind of, and audiences. So it's neat. But the Western people are the closest to my heart. I mean, that's our people, right?
Yeah, they are our people. And it's who we are as well. Mm-hmm. And it's more. I think it's more authentic coming from yourself, having actually done it and competed, and your family's involved. Like it's a perfect fit.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a bit of a fraud because I only rode steers till I was 15, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely have a deep family history in it, and I'm reminded that Charlie Russell was apparently not that great of a hand, anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's from St. Louis, right? I've made peace with the fact that there's a place in cowboy culture for the chroniclers of the lifestyle.
I guess I would consider myself in the same boat because I sit on a few bulls here and there and whatnot, but I haven't even got to ride a horse, and I don't get to ride very often. So I live in the city now. I have a house in town. And
did you ever tie goats when you were a kid?
No, never did. Actually, I shouldn't. I maybe did in college or something, but
competitively, I mean.
No, I never competed. I actually went into a charity barrel race one time, but it was for a charity, so it made it okay.
I was in horse 4-H for years when I was a little kid. It was fun until I figured out you could make $1,500 in beef 4-H. I switched.
Every guest on the show, we ask them what their definition of cowboy shit is.
For me, I think the word cowboy has a lot of. The word has really been diluted, like thinned out.
Yeah.
To me, I still reserve it mostly for guys that work cattle. Like,
yeah.
If you get right down to it, I think people who work with cattle and ranchers and stuff. That's my definition. I mean, rodeo guys too. But it's funny because we've talked about this. Rodeo, especially these days, has a very wide scope of people backgrounds. Some people really don't have a Western background at all. And that's cool. But the ones that do, I think the deeper deeper it goes, the more I consider that real cowboy stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Was that rambly?
No, it wasn't rambly. I'm thinking though, you're kind of making it. You're kind of a purist on the definition. That's what I'm gathering based on what you said.
Kinda, and I mean I have trouble applying the term to myself sometimes because I mean I like to out of respect for guys that still working cowboys, right?
I guess what you said too though about how we can be the chroniclers of the essence or of that lifestyle, right?
That's part of it for sure.
Yeah. So we can still, and we mentioned the story too about Las Vegas here. One of the times you had a show here, and you had we were talking about stuff that might be cowboy shit different times, right? You can still do cowboy shit and maybe not actually be ranching and whatnot, but there's some stuff that kind of
you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. I think the drunkest show I ever played. This is the statute of limitations has passed on this, so I can talk about it. But I think the drunkest show I ever played was in Las Vegas at a place called the Bunkhouse, and my girlfriend who I met here had a friend who runs an Irish bar, and he came to it, and he likes whiskey a lot, right? Yeah. And I couldn't keep up with him even close, and he got me super hammered, and then I thought it would be a good idea for some reason to pass out underneath the van trailer, and they found me with my legs sticking out from underneath of it like the Wicked Witch of the West, which is good, I suppose, because they could have backed over me otherwise. Yeah. I guess that's kind of cowboy.
I mean, yeah, it's
I was wearing boots.
We got to talk a little bit about music. I'm not sure, maybe like what your favorite rodeo song is, or cowboy song, or like what?
Oh boy,
what would that be?
The first songs I ever learned to sing were old ballads that my grandpa would sing to me, and those actually I rediscovered later on the Marty Robbins Gunfighter record. Yeah. But the Strawberry Roan and When the Work's All Done This Fall and Little Joe the Wrangler. And then I mean Ian Tyson's got some great ones. He's got one called Rodeo Road that's really good. Mm-hmm. Someday Soon's a great rodeo song, really.
One of the greatest ever.
Yeah. Chris has a bunch of good ones.
Yeah. What's your favorite that you have though?
That I wrote?
What's your favorite one that way?
There's one called The Rodeo's Over that I sang with Ian Tyson. I think that's probably my favorite.
That's your favorite?
I think so.
And what about the one about your uncle Lynn though?
Buck and Horse Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one too. That may be a close second.
Close second. Well, and they fit in perfectly here at the finals too.
Yeah. It's funny because there's hardly anybody currently writing Western stuff.
That's true.
At all. Like there's a few of us, but not many. And that's not all I do either. But I mean, I think, as you know, I grew up real Western, and then when I was about 16, I got into rock and roll music. Yeah. And I was in a rock band for about 10 years.
Smalls.
Yeah, and we were real underground kind of cult following kind of thing. Yeah. And the atmosphere in that scene at the time was really focused on doing your own thing and being unique and trying to find different sounds and stuff. And I think that had a permanent effect on my songwriting, because I think if I'd have just stuck with Western music right from start to finish, it would be a lot more in the lane. But because I sort of forged my songwriting in an environment when you're encouraged to be as out there as you could sometimes, I think that blended with the historical ancestral cowboy stuff that I grew up with kind of forged the songwriting style that I have. If there's any quirkiness to it, that's why.
Is that kind of how you got like your rockabilly song, like that one that's that way? Is that kind of how like that could fit in, you mean, or is that? Yeah,
I'm not a purist in terms of what I'm writing about. I write about whatever appeals to me at the time, and a lot of that includes Western stuff. But I write about grave diggers and goth chicks and whatever.
Awesome. Live from Las Vegas, this has been Cowboy Shit.
This is Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey. Ted is back home. Corb is back home. NFR is over. And now here are the highlights.
Well, we're both pretty wiped out from Vegas.
5 days ago, right?
5 days? I don't know. I lost track of the days. That was on
like halfway through Vegas, and then now we're home. Brain dead, broken, exhausted.
We've been sleeping all day on our just licking our wounds on the couch on our own places, just trying to figure out what day it is and shit.
You asked me last week my definition of cowboy shit. I think that's the definition of cowboy shit, doing 10 days in Vegas at the NFR.
And not dying?
Yeah.
Just being able to it probably isn't even, I can't even say it's us, because it's the guys that do 10 days in Vegas and then go home and do real cowboy shit again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, tell me about your week, though. I got to say, it was pretty kick-ass for us to come see your shows the different times. Like, you had the Brooklyn Bowl for the Hui Party the first Friday. You had the show with on Fremont Street, and then you did another show. Like, two more. You did the Greeley Hats one. Tell us about the shows in Vegas and what all went down.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I sort of play, I can't remember how much we talked about this last week, but my music's pretty Western-based, right? And there really aren't that many of us doing it. And a lot of the shows I play in Canada are attended by Western people, ranchers, rodeo people. I think that's probably my most obvious foot in the door in the U.S., right? Because not everybody knows it's down there, but playing at the NFR is like the best possible place for me to play every year. So
yeah,
because you know how it is. Everybody from the West comes there, and then they see it, and then they go back home and tell their friends, or maybe play for committee people for other rodeos. It's really great. So yeah, on the Wednesday night we played the kickoff party the night before the first perf on the Wednesday.
Yeah,
at Fremont Street outside, and that was real fun. It was a rocker. I kind of expected it to be one of those things outside where just random people walk by gawking at you, but it wasn't like that. There were hundreds of people that knew our stuff. It was really gratifying. And then Friday, we played with our friends the Turnpike Troubadours at the Hooey party. That was a good one. We played the Hooey people a couple years in a row now. They're really good to us.
They're great too. Your Turnpike buddies. Remember meeting. Was it Evan? Is that right?
Yeah, where'd you meet Evan?
You introduced me to him at the Mirage or somewhere along the line. It was pretty drunk out by that hour. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of it's coming back to me now here different times.
Evan's one of my best music buddies. Yeah, we've toured with the Turnpike Troubadours a ton, both down in the States, and then we brought them up here years ago too.
They're great. I'd love to see them back up here again too.
Yeah, they're really good. And then I played a couple private parties. One for the Greeley Hat folks / Kimes Jeans people.
Yeah,
like a private party. And then I played. I just kind of popped up playing Flint's show and Anthony Lucia's show and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a real good week all in all. The beauty of the music business is staying out late drinking beer with people is basically literally networking for what I do. So yeah, it's pretty good. And I got to go to 3 performances, and I went to a couple of the Bullfighter only deals. That was really great. So it was a very full week.
What did you think of the rodeo? You've been there a few times now, but
it's so awesome. Like I can't believe it looks like a highlight reel. They run that so well. Like we talked about how we've all seen small town rodeos that are fun, but they drag on and on and on. Right?
Yeah.
They run the NFR like a highlight reel. It's crazy. I can't believe anybody can get cowboys to be that organized
or be that fast. Hey, like it's just. I think almost every committee in the world could go to the NFR and learn something and realize that they can run a quick rodeo. It's not impossible.
You know what strikes me? We were talking about this a bit before, but a couple of things that strike me: the difference between Canadian rodeo and American. Oh, yeah. One thing is the all-around deal.
Yeah.
Like, because in Canada, I don't know, at least it used to be, you still have to work both ends, don't you?
You still do, yeah.
So that's a lot more
all around.
To me, that's a lot. And in the old days, like my dad worked all the events in the old days, like when he was a kid. Like people used to do that, but now it's so specialized and there's so much money that it's rare you get a guy that can do more than one thing. But I think it deserves to. I guess what do they call it down there? The Linderman Award, is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's right. And that's that's for whoever wins the most in. I think it's 3 events actually. I think for the Linderman Award, but it might just be 2. But I remember the most recent Canadian guy to win it was Kyle Thompson, maybe 2011 or 12 or something. And I think he won money. He for sure won money in the bronc riding and the bulldogging, but I think he also had 1,000 in the team roping. So I think it's 3 events, but it's more true because it has to be both ends. In my opinion.
To me, both ends that's literally all around, right?
Yeah,
all around cowboy.
Well, and in Canada we have the High Point, which is 2 events, which is actually essentially what the American all-around is. Yeah.
And I'm not to be critical, but I mean it takes a wider range of skills because usually it's the cap ropers that win it because they dabble in steer roping or team roping, right?
And that's how Trevor Brazil has won 24 world titles. He's won I think 12 or 14 in the all-around. Then he's won a few steer roping, a couple calf roping, and I think he won the team roping once too. But he's never rode bull. So what would he do on that end of the arena? But then again, Ty Murray never did any time event. He probably could have done enough to win $1,000 a year and still win the all around per se. But it's very rare for somebody to do well at say bronc riding and bulldogging. One of the guys that's done it the best lately was probably Stephen Turner make the Canadian finals in the steer wrestling and bull riding in the same year. And he was top 50 in the PRCA a little bit, but there haven't been many guys make the NFR on both ends of the arena. It'd be a very select few.
Yeah, my uncle Lynn Jensen used to ride. He used to be a bareback rider.
Yeah,
and he used to. If there was enough money at it, or if he was, thought he had any kind of shot at an all-around paycheck, he'd enter the dog and just take a win.
Oh,
he
really?
wasn't very good at it. Every once in a while he'd catch one, no?
He won a couple all-around titles of different places, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. He'd dog a little bit.
Okay.
Another difference that was a revelation to me, not so much since I've been going to NFR, but I think the first time I ever saw it was on TV a few years ago. But like when I was growing up going to rodeos in Canada, like the team roping is a whole different beast in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Because, like, for some reason, most of the rodeos I went to when I was a kid, the team roping was kind of like a lot of local people, which is fine. But it was, like, the times of 13 and 15. And it was a revelation to me when you go down there and it's 4 seconds. Like, holy crap.
It's impressive. It's one of the best events when the guys do well.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch. And I had no idea that when I was a kid watching team roping here, I had no idea that it could be that fast.
Well, nobody had any respect for it for a long time in Canada. Like, I think it was only
till the boys a couple of years ago, eh?
Yeah, it was only till this year, I think, that the Canadian Finals Rodeo paid equal money. Like, it's 2018, and this is the first year they've even had equal money. It's quite bizarre, actually.
Well, kind of, but I mean, there are some differences. Like you said, we don't have steer tripping or whatever, and we have. There's a few things that we have up north that are different than I don't know if they have chucks. Not that chucks are really rodeo, but they don't have a lot of chuck wagons down there, right?
No, you're right. It's very I think the most of the chuck wagons that are down there are guys doing kind of like show performances from up here.
It's an interesting story. My grandpa Ivan's my mom's dad. He was a roper.
Yeah.
And he said he mostly rode in Canada, but he'd go to the odd Montana or Wyoming.
Yeah.
Rodeo, and he said that in those days, I guess it'd be the 40s probably or the 50s. Yeah. He said they weren't tying off, like they weren't tied hard and fast in the States, and they were in Canada.
Oh.
So they would dally when they were calf roping in Montana at that time. So he told me a couple times when he'd come out and catch a calf, make a really good run, and he'd just throw the slack out and the calf would run down the arena.
Oh.
Because he used to be inside off.
Oh, man.
Pretty funny.
Like he turned into a breakaway there by accident.
Yeah.
He was just kind of catching release.
It's interesting, the slight differences. And another cool thing, I don't know if we talked about this, but my mom and dad, just talking about differences in rodeo between country to country.
Yeah.
My folks rodeoed in Australia for a season in the late 60s.
Okay.
And calf roping was just new down there then, because they don't traditionally, like their stockmen didn't use saddles. They used English saddles. There's no horn on them.
Yeah.
Roping's not really a part of their culture. And so Dad won a bunch of rodeos roping down there. And he was a very mediocre roper at best, right?
Huh. But he could win in Australia.
Yeah. And then he said when he'd tie a calf, all the cowboys gather around to watch him because it was all brand new to them. They just started doing it.
Geez, that reminds me of a story in Mexico one time. I was at a rodeo in Chihuahua, and it was actually Steven Turner too. He won money. He won like second in this big international rodeo we were at, and I think his best time was maybe 12 seconds or something. It was pretty slow, but he won like $2,000 US or like 50,000 pesos or something crazy. Calf roping.
Isn't Mexican rodeo totally different?
This one we were at was very Americanized for a rodeo in Mexico. And it was kind of standardized across the planet because there was like 17 countries represented at this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the traditional Mexican rodeos are totally different, right?
Oh, yeah. It's more the charro kind of Western festival show. There's lots of like pageantry and that kind of thing, and the horses with the really long mane and the trick roping and the different saddles. And you were telling me about that book too. That would probably help me learn about what a lot of those things were. The Joe Mora book.
Yeah, Joe Mora. Yeah. Trail Dust and Saddle Leather. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend that to everybody. I grew up with this stuff, and I learned a ton from that book. It's basically a book about the evolution of cowboy gear.
It's probably the definition of cowboy shit. It's probably in there, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it really literally is. It talks about the evolution of all the gear, like the clothes and the saddles and the bits and the spurs and everything from the early Texans when they learned it from the vaqueros all the way to 50s.
I'm going to get that book. I had it wrote down, but I'm going to get that one again.
It's really neat. Ordered. And then he's got another book called so that book's called Trail Dust and Saddle Leather. I would recommend it to anybody. Yeah. But he's got another book that he wrote called The Californios, which is a book about the sort of the pre-cowboys, like the vaqueros that were running the cattle in the Spanish missions in California in the 1800s. And like all the Texas cowboy stuff comes from the vaqueros originally, right? That's where they learned it. So he's got both books, one about the sort of the pre-Anglo Texas cowboy and then one about the Texas cowboy forward.
You can't tell a Texas cowboy where they came from though, probably, can you? They probably think it all originated. We didn't talk much about music when we were in Vegas though. Tell me about what you got coming up for your next shows that you got on the line, and you actually flew right from Vegas to Vancouver too. Yeah,
we recorded some music last month and I was just finishing up some finishing touches on it. So that's what's come out. And it's actually just a bunch of cover songs we're doing for fun. Yeah. Old songs that the obscure tunes that I've always liked.
Yeah.
I'm making a real record in the spring, like of my own songs. But yeah, we did a Marty Robbins song, and a Willie Nelson song, and a Nancy Sinatra song.
Did you say Sinatra?
Nancy Sinatra.
Oh, Nancy
Sinatra. Made for walking.
Oh, okay. And then you were telling me, and we saw it a couple times over the last couple months in the travels between where we've all been and whatnot. But you were telling me about Ian being on a AC/DC track called Ride On.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't quite finished that one. I'm not sure if it's going to make the cut, but it's pretty cool. It's this kind of AC/DC ballad called Ride On, and it's kind of it's not one of the top 10 AC/DC well-known songs, but AC/DC fans will know it. And it's kind of a ballad about a hard-living guy, and I tried to countrify it a little bit, but yeah, I got Ian to do some backups on it, and it's really quite cool. It's quite a whole different spin on the song.
Well, didn't you have you were singing something from the Eagles that night in Red Deer too during the CFR?
Yeah, there's an Eagles song too, an obscure Eagles song. So yeah, we're just kind of for fun. I mean, I've made like 9 records of my own, so it's kind of fun to play. And some of these songs we've been playing as covers for years already, so we just kind of figured we record them.
These are going on like a EP, you said, right? Like just
it'll be like an EP, some kind of EP, in this probably March or something like that.
Okay, and then yours is coming out probably like next fall kind of thing when you get your own.
Yeah, it depends on the writing. I've got a bunch of stuff, but the next few months are kind of key to it. Yeah, we might record in May, assuming I have the stuff written, and it's kind of after this many records, it's more important to make a really good one than to just crank one out. So I really want to make sure it's good. So if I don't have my shit together, I might push it a little bit. But yeah.
What makes it good for you?
Just working on the songs long enough that because you get into kind of it's a career too, right? So you get into this kind of cycle. You put out a record and you tour. You put out a record, and you kind of feel like you should put one out every couple of years, but sometimes you get pressure from. I mean, I'm not in a position where I get pressure from my record label or anything. I just feel my own pressure, like I should get something out. Yeah. But the longer I wait and the more I work on it, the more the song. Like the ideal situation would be for me to write the songs, show the guys, play them live a ton, and then go record them, because then it works them in, you know.
Okay.
I don't know. I have a bunch of tunes, but I want to make sure I want to make a really good one.
You're talking about having the tunes and then playing them, and one of the songs that's going to be on this next one is going to be Horse Poor, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, that one's been around for a while, so that'll be a good one.
But it's it's such a cool song though, and I think it's going to work out really well.
My friend Jada Dreyer, she's a horse lady she's from Ontario originally. She lives in Nashville now, and she's had a bunch of hits with all the country guys on the radio, Luke Bryan and those guys. Yeah. But it was her idea, and then we wrote it together. It's a duet about how the lady spends all the guys' money on horses.
Oh, I love that one. It's hilarious.
Okay, get this though. So I went to I got invited to Hollywood to go meet Sam Elliott and Ashton Kutcher at the ranch. The Netflix show. And my plan is, I don't know Sam, I'd only met him for 5 minutes, but there's a part in that Horse Poor song that's kind of a funny takeoff on Wedding Vows, like the bridge of the song. And I want to get Sam Elliott to do that.
You were telling us about that in Vegas. That'll be
that'd be a major career coup if I could.
But you were telling us about that whole experience, and you didn't you say you got Sam's number, or you got it with his people, or what happened there?
No, I didn't get his number. We chatted for quite a while. I mean, I know the people that got me into that, had me come play, were the writers, the people that write the show, and they can reach him easily. Obviously, so it was fun. Let's
talk more about the ranch if you had more on about that though.
Not a whole lot. Just it was kind of fun because they shoot the episodes live every Friday. Yeah, with a live audience. Yeah, and so I got to go and watch it, and then after that, I got to play like a little half an hour little solo live show for the cast and crew afterwards. It's pretty weird because they told me Ashton Kutcher doesn't usually stick around for that stuff, but I saw this guy everybody was sitting in front of me, and there was somebody sitting way off to the side, and I didn't think much of it, and they kept taking pictures. And at the end, I played that S Lazy H song, that really downer, losing the ranch tune. Yeah. And somebody goes, "Holy shit, that's a bummer." I looked over, it was Ashton Kutcher, right?
Really?
Yeah. And then he came up after me. We had quite a good chat, actually.
Really? Cool. What was he like? I've just known him from being the guy in the funniest movies of my childhood, from Dude, Where's My Car, to that 70s show.
He's pretty cool, actually. He's from a farm in, I want to say Iowa, maybe.
Really?
He's a farm kid. But yeah, he was really great. He was very genuine, and had a good chat with
him. I wrote this down when you were talking about Sam Elliott, but is he the coolest person you've met in your travels in the world of music, or is there anybody else? Because he seems like kind of the pinnacle of this business almost.
It's hard to beat Tyson.
That's true.
But yeah, he's right up there for sure.
Yeah. Who else would be on that list?
Ramblin' Jackie Elliott.
Okay.
I kind of dig Miranda. I've met her a few times.
Lambert, you mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Marty Stewart's pretty cool. He's known for those kind of hot country hair songs in the 90s. Marty Stewart's a real historian of country music. He was married to Johnny Cash's daughter, and he was in Johnny Cash's band and in Lester Flatt's band. So he's kind of a legend.
Oh, wow. Who have you not met yet that you want to or want to be connected with in this business?
Marty Robbins.
Oh, I guess that won't happen now, though, will it?
And Waylon Jennings. All the guys I want to meet are dead.
Oh.
Johnny Horton.
Oh, dang.
Waylon Jennings.
But it's pretty cool you've got to spend a lot of your career with a guy like Tyson, right? Like, and he's a legend in the business, too.
Yeah, I've gotten to be really good friends with him. When I met him, I don't know, years and years ago, I was pretty scared because...
Yeah.
You know, anytime you meet somebody, a hero like that, plus he's got a reputation for can be a little crusty. But he's been a sweetheart. He's been a super good friend for years and years. And I see him as often as I can when I'm home. We always hang out. And it's got to the point where we're just kind of buddies. It feels like hanging out with any of my musician buddies.
Yeah.
Except for once in a while, like every once in a while, I'll look over and he's got this guitar in his living room that he wrote all the hits on, like all of his big ones.
Yeah.
I'll look over at that, or I'll see like the Order of Canada on the wall, and I'll remember for a second, this is the guy that wrote Sunday Soon.
Yeah.
He's been a really big help in my career, and just kind of giving me a bit of advice here and there.
But didn't you tell me one time that like he was right in with like Sinatra and the guys, and like back in the day, like he was right at the upper top echelon of the entire business for a while. Yeah,
in the '60s when folk was huge, Ian and Sylvia were right at the top of it. Like he was massive. I'm not sure about Sinatra, but he knew. I mean, he knew
Johnny Cash. That was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Cash and Bob Dylan. And I said, "Do you ever meet Johnny Cash?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I knew John."
Oh wow, they're on a first name basis.
He knows him. Yeah, right. And like the band and the Grateful Dead, and he knew all those people.
That's incredible.
And, he's a beauty.
And you guys still get to hang out.
Yeah, he's just up in Longview. So, like one of the things that's kind of neat that we have in common is we both kind of have a couple different chapters in our musical career. Like I was in my rock band, The Smalls, and then I started playing Western music. Yeah, that matched my upbringing. And he kind of did a similar thing because he started out riding Bronx, and then he busted his leg, I guess. Yeah, and he learned to play guitar in the hospital and started playing folk music just because that's kind of what was happening. And then he got to be huge doing that. And then when that kind of finished up, he started playing kind of real legit Western music. Yeah. In the 80s. We both had a couple real different, diverse chapters of our career, so I can kind of relate to him on that level. He's also like a walking historian of the West, too, right? Well, and you guys would really connect well over that. So are you. Yeah. We have good talks over that stuff. He's the one that kind of introduced me to the Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Elko, Nevada. Okay. He took me down there the first year. I've been there probably 10 years now. But it's a really neat deal because it's like real traditional cowboy music and cowboy poetry, and they have a trade show, but it's all real legit stuff. Like saddle makers and silversmiths. Yeah. That's somewhere I haven't been yet, but I really got to get there sometime. Yeah, you should come down. This might be his last year. Coulter Wall is going to be there. I think me and Coulter Wall are maybe even playing on a song swap together this year. Oh, wow. Geez, I got to look into that then. But yeah, I'll hook you up. Come down. Yeah, sounds good. I better let you get back to work. I'm going to have a shot of whiskey and go to sleep. Yeah, I'm done too. I need to sleep for 2 days. Get ready for next year. Yeah. Next year's going to be here about what? Are we 10 days away yet? It's the 15. So 15 days? Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah, awesome, Corb. This is awesome, man. We'll catch up again at the Christmas Shaker. So thanks. Yep, sounds good, Ted. You're listening to Cowboy Shit, episode 28 with Ted and Wacey. Christmas is coming. It is. Santa Claus is coming to town. He is. What did you ask Santa Claus for? For Christmas, eh? For Christmas. For Chrysler. Chrysler. I don't know. I forgot. Teddy, are you going to leave milk and cookies out for our friend Santa Claus? No, because they'll probably just go bad. Because they'll probably still be here in the fridge when I get back. No, their cookies will get eaten. It was noodles. It was a jar of noodles. Sorry, I don't police the fridge that much. Was that before Mexico? You didn't make that the night that I was... No, it was when you left for Vegas. You sure? I think it might have been before Mexico, man. No, it wasn't. Those might be some old-ass noodles, bud. It wasn't, man. This is pretty good, though, Either way, no harm, no foul. Everybody's alive. Just a really old jug of noodles in the fridge. Did you throw out the jar? We still got the jar. Why did you throw out the jar out? Yeah, I was hoping you didn't. It's a good jar. It's good glass. Just wash it. Yeah, good. I do have to commend Wacey this time. Plants are alive. Plants have been watered. Props to this guy for taking care of the plants. Farming. Yeah, urban farming. So that was good. First time I came back and my plants haven't been dead. So that was good. No, that's a lie. Second time? No.
There's only been one time you came back and they've been dying. So that's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, that's true.
Bit of an oxymoron there.
I don't know if that's what that meaning of
that's
that word is.
Extreme exaggeration.
An oxymoron?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a simile or a not a metaphor, but the other one. There's another one. Extreme something?
It's an oxymoron.
Okay.
I think. Google it.
Either way.
Back to business.
The NFR wrapped up.
NFR is over.
It was the same as it's been the last 25 years. Nothing changed, except there was an awkward pause before the perf started.
How was the attendance?
It's weird. Oh, it was full. It's full every night. It was great. There's really great content at the rodeo.
How was aside from the whole media room thing, how was the new production?
There was nothing changed. It was exactly the
same thing. It's a new person doing it. Same
he's
show.
Not even in charge yet altogether. Like he's going to take over at some point, but he's still not in charge. And yeah, it was still the same show. Like
I guess
same people.
It's one of those things. It's like
there was some.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, really really honestly, the only thing they're going to change is contestants and personnel because if the format works. I think they could do some different stuff in the opening maybe. They could use some different personnel. The one opening that I did sit out and watch, Boyd still announced it himself. And honestly, his voice is superior to anyone that was there this year. Mm-hmm. And Bob Tallman is another step above that. Mm-hmm. I missed Boyd's voice at that arena. He does have a huge presence at that.
Well, even this
rodeo.
Since you've been covering it, he's been
every year. Yeah. And he has more than those three that were there. And nothing against those guys, but it's just a different level. It's kind of like how things are in Canada right now. It's like there's like a different level. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone knows it, but Brett's he's so good.
He's the guy.
You know? And there's nothing against anyone else.
There's a reason why he's the 8-time or 8 in a row or 9 in a row, whatever the hell he is.
And the same thing is, it was present there, I thought. And I kind of know a couple of the announcers there, like not very well. They probably don't know who I am, like doesn't matter. But yeah, like I'm not trying to knock anybody. There's just a different level.
Like I said before, that's all you've known since you've been going there. So
exactly.
It's easy to, something like that when it changes, it's more easy to like
recognize
notice.
Yeah. And I mean, music wise, like Benji does the same stuff. He's done it for a long time. He had a couple different songs. He has the same format. The rodeo works though, like, and that's what somebody else said. They're like, it works. What do you need to change? Yeah, you really don't need to change much. You can change a few personnel and a few things and like a little bit of stuff.
There's nothing else you need to do.
They run a fucking fast rodeo. Like it's less than 2 hours to run like over 100 contestants, over 100 outs. It's quite impressive that way.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I just remembered that was pretty funny to watch was when Sage and Tim Bennington, they split the round when Sage and some other guy, and
they rode the horse.
Double, and the horse bucked him off.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That's
good.
pretty funny. I like that.
He didn't want to talk about it though. It's lame.
Sage didn't want to talk about it.
No, he's like, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, well, that's the story tonight. Like, who gives a shit? You rode a bull. Like, you rode another bull. What do you do?
Yeah, it's funny. That's people right? And like people like would rather talk about that than the bull ride because we all
seen lots of bull rides. Mm-hmm. It's funny as shit when the guy falls off the victory lap horse.
So funny,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So story wise, there was. I mean, with Carmen winning the average was incredible. A lot of our Canadian crew did well. Zeke bucked off in the last round to probably win the world again.
Mm-hmm. He had a great week down there.
Yeah, won 150,000 US. Great week for him. We're getting into results again here now, but like,
still, you gotta talk about the Canadians. That's pretty cool, though.
They did good.
Do you hear of any interesting finds?
No, I didn't really. But I saw two different instances where guys held their hats when they looked like they were going to throw their hats because they thought they were going to get fined. Like Curtis Cassidy didn't throw his hat because he's like, I probably got fined. And I was like, well, I guess that's how it is, but.
Fair enough.
Let's. I gotta ask you a question though, and it's funny because Monty Phillips was in Vegas and I didn't even see him, and that reminded me of a time when you were in Vegas and I didn't even see you, and you peed your pants and you.
No, I don't. We don't want to talk about this, man.
Craziest Vegas story.
I only have one Vegas story.
You've only been there once.
I've only been there once.
But you wrecked. Yeah,
we showed up. We partied. Things happened. Phones got wrecked. Whatever. It was pretty funny. It was a pretty funny night. It was a Conor McGregor fight there.
Oh, that
year
night.
Too. Yeah,
that was a Saturday.
It was before the fight. Ending. It was the night before the fight.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a bunch.
The next night was nuts. I remember being around there.
Yeah, but so we met up. We ended up meeting up with these two Irish guys and making buddies with them and partied with them.
Yeah.
And like I bought a bottle of Fireball on the Strip. And
oh god.
It was around.
That's where you know you want.
I pretty much spent almost all my money that I had with me
the first night. So you never can go full crazy the first night in Vegas.
Right. And see, that's like my fatal flaw. Like we went to Mexico, my brother and I.
Yeah.
And we didn't even check into our room, and they give you your wristband to go sit at the bar. So you go it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I don't even remember checking into our room, man.
Oh no.
Fun times though.
I did that in Costa Rica once.
Yeah, it just
get wrecked out real bad.
It's fun because it's like you're excited to be there, and it's like it's a party, and then
next thing you know, and then next thing you know, you're upside down in a dumpster.
You don't know what happened. You're meeting people that met you the night before. You don't know who they are. They know who you are. It's awkward.
Yeah, but you were the life of the party. Like I remember being the guy like, oh hey Ted, good to see you. And I'm like, what? So what?
Don't
happened?
know who you are. Can you please remind me of who you are?
And what exactly happened last night? Because I don't remember.
Yeah,
and if I don't remember, then it didn't happen.
Exactly. Yeah, no Vegas. I hope we could get that back down there sometime soon. Have a good time.
Someday when you
I'm not in school anymore.
Graduate from university and you're in a full-time employee of everything.
And get a real job.
Well, not a real job.
Yeah. When I get into the real world.
Yeah, well, not you're already in the real world. We're just talking like when you're done school.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get down there.
It's just when you're done school.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, moving on.
Yeah,
that's not one of my proudest moments. It was fun though.
You never said what happened. Like, how'd you? Yeah, you broke your phone.
That's a story for another time.
So did you? When exactly did you pee your pants? Like, when did this happen?
I don't even know. I just woke up and it was.
You were just sleeping in your dirty pee pants.
I was fully clothed. I was laying. I didn't even get under the covers of my bed.
You just laid on top of it. Where was your brother? Did he have his own bed?
He was in his own bed.
And like, did he wake up or did he know or did you just?
I woke up and I was like, I pissed myself and wrecked my phone. You're an idiot.
What happened with your phone? Like, was it just?
It was broke. It was wrecked.
You couldn't even turn it on.
How do you get a new one when I get home?
You didn't have a phone the rest of the trip.
No,
because you just went dark on us there.
I did. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. It was okay. Like whatever. Like, and then the next day though was bad. Like I was so hungover. I couldn't even like eat. I didn't eat until the night at the rodeo.
The next night? The whole day.
I woke up Saturday morning. Like didn't eat that whole day until that we went to the rodeo.
At the rodeo.
And that's when I had my first beer again because I was so hungover.
That was when you got back on the Swish. Mm-hmm. Then how'd that night go?
It wasn't quite as wild.
Yeah.
We kept it pretty tame. We wanted to go to Gillies, so we walked all the way down to fucking Gillies, and it was lame.
Funny, we all travel around Vegas to find a good party, and usually when we get there, it's either over or it's too crowded to even be fun.
Yeah, it just wasn't even it wasn't my deal. So it was the first night was a runaway. I'm not saying I didn't have fun the times the places I went with my brother when it's just him and I. But I feel like stuff like that's meant for a big group of people. If you're just going down for a fun time, if you go to an all-inclusive resort, you go with a big group of friends, or if you go to Vegas, it's fun to go with another 4 or 5 people, or you know what I mean. I think that would be a little bit more fun, but it was good. I like Vegas.
I'm sick of Vegas. I don't want to go back.
I've only been one. It's different because you go twice a year for extended periods of time, and I've only been one time. So it's kind of different into the spectrum.
I actually worked out down there this year, went to the gym. It was weird.
I'm going to pose a question to you.
The new PRCA logo, I really don't like it still. It's been a few weeks. We went through the entire NFR, and they kind of put it out there at a weird time where it was before the finals, and they didn't talk about it. And then when I got there was only one person that was allowed to talk about it, and it was really weird how it all went about. I don't like it, and I don't know what it's doing for the sport, and it's our brand. I'm curious to hear what more people think, because it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. Yeah. Some people don't give a shit either.
No.
But I don't know, it's the brand, it's what represents the sport, and it's I don't think it's as marketable. I don't think it represents everything.
Well, it's I guess a good way to think about it is you look even their Twitter icon now with it, you can't even see it. It's so small.
There's no detail.
Yeah. And for me, it's one of those things I mentioned before, if it's not broke, why they don't fix it? If it's fine, it's recognized. It'll be we've talked, even you mentioned in that thing you sent me, it's you gotta be able to recognize what it is just from looking at it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the Twitter thing, or even on a Facebook icon, you wouldn't be able to see what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of makes it a little hard to communicate what it is. Mm-hmm. For me, if that makes sense.
I think it's gone the wrong direction, and based on how the NFR was this year, I don't know. I'm not sure which way it's going, but we will see shortly. The new season has begun.
Are they did they say nobody said anything about it down there? Hey,
no, it was they were supposed to have a press release about it. Yeah, it never happened. There was a video that they did that I saw at the rodeo, but I don't know if I ever saw it on social. But yeah, just I just didn't think it was very good, and I don't know what it's doing. I think it's a waste of money to change it, and I think one thing they did mention was they want to promote it as pro rodeo rather than the PRCA, but the PRCA is pro rodeo, but they wanted to set themselves apart from all the associations with the RAs.
That makes sense, though. I can see that coming from there.
Yeah, so maybe even if it's just a bronc card that says pro rodeo, that's cool. But
then you think of that. That's easy. You have that. It's pro rodeo. You know what it is. It's easy.
So get rid of all the other shit, because now it's really fucking convoluted again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But this has been enough episode today, and I'm gonna go have a nap.
Ted's sleeping.
So you got to go play hockey. We got shit to do. Bit of an abrupt ending, but thanks for listening. Thanks to our guest this week. And
see you next time.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. This is our last Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
This was episode 28 of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey, brought to you by Everything Cowboy.